Hans, what's the best thing about BYU's 3-0 start to you?
The fact that they're 3-0. I mean, getting 3 wins, it's awesome. And Stanford's an ACC team. And East Carolina, I think, is going to compete for the American Conference Championship. So these are not bums. They got good talent. And East Carolina is a very good team. And Stanford is a Power 4 team. So those are good wins. I don't care what anybody tells me. The other thing I like is that you're 3-0 and you've got a true freshman quarterback. How often is that going to happen? Like never. So a lot of good things, Jerem, that these guys can start 3-0.
Non-conference is over. Who's the MVP for BYU so far?
I would say that is going to be John Taumapeo.
Look at you.
Defensive tackle. If you take a look at rushing yards against BYU, I know you could give it to Glasgow, you could give it to Kelly, you could give it to the guys with sacks or the guys with interceptions. You can give it to all these other turkeys, but nobody matters more than John Taumapeo. I think he's been your most consistent down lineman. I think he's been the most responsible for gap security. And when you just watch the game play out, John has just been a mainstay. Keanu's been great. I actually think John and Keanu probably about the same plane. I know Keanu's got a sack. I know Nisi Purcell has a sack, but I just feel like John has been so consistently good at stopping the run.
That's definitely off the radar and completely biased by a defensive lineman. I love it. Hoping for more from Keanu Tanavasa. We haven't seen his best quite yet. And then Justin Kirkland was on the depth chart this week. We could see him play. What kind of difference do you feel like an improved Keanu Tanavasa could make and Justin Kirkland in the mix at defensive tackle?
Well, see, I think about that, and it's like, well, how much improvement can you actually make on a run defense that gives up no rushing yards?
44 a game. It could be under 40.
It's like, so you're going shooting for under 30? What are you looking for?
It was 7 yards through 2 games, just saying.
I don't know what people want from Justin Kirkland. I'm sure he's like, yes, I'll come in and maybe do as good as or less good because it's been exceptional. So I know everybody's all excited, like Justin Kirkland, it's going to be so great. So what I think it's going to do is it adds depth. It allows you to rotate a couple of D tackles that are very good at their job. But I'm not expecting Justin Kirkland to come in here and be Warren Sapp. If that's who you think it is, if you think you're getting Ndamukong Suh in the interior of this defensive line, that's not who Justin Kirkland is. He's one of the top-rated run-stopping D tackles in the country. But as far as explosion to pass rush and quick pressures on 3-step drops, he's not going to do that for you. So he's going to give you what you've already got a lot of, and that just adds good depth.
This is the most we've talked about the defensive line consecutively ever on this program. We have a defensive lineman on the show. We're talking John Taumapeo, Keanu Tanavasa, Justin Kirkland. As we look at the fearsome foursome, and of course the great Merlin Olsen behind you, let's talk about the offense. I said for MVP, I said LJ Martin. The way he's run the ball has been really good. That O-line's been awesome. 100-plus 3 straight games. He's one of the best in the country right now at 8.5 yards per carry. 4 runs of 40-plus. He had 0 last year. He's tied for first in the country. Who thought we would have a more explosive BYU run game than pass game through 3 contests so far?
Well, I thought that'd be the case. I thought it would have to be the case. Not that I thought, he's going to be a 100-plus yarder in the first 3 games, and he's going to be trending as one of the top running backs in the country. I had hopes, and I thought it was possible, but didn't expect it because that's a lot to expect. But we knew with the true freshman that the running game was going to have to be successful in order for this team to be successful. So that has been a really nice jolt and something that you can really lean on. I think that LJ Martin has been very, very special, breaking a lot of tackles and doing a lot of things on his own, which I can really appreciate. And I was thinking about this the other day. You know, there was a team that won the Big 12 championship last year with a freshman quarterback and a really good running back. And as I've watched BYU through the first 3 games, and you've got this true freshman quarterback, and you've got this running back that's going for 100-plusers and starting to build his confidence, I start thinking, could that be? Could it be that Chase Roberts gets healthy and Bear Bachmeier developed this really unique connection, and all of a sudden you've got that Levitt to Tyson type connection with the Scadaboo type running back, and you get enough offense to add to a defense. BYU's defense is better than Arizona State defense was last year, was this year, or if you combine those two defenses together, took the best parts of it, could be with those two defenses combined. This is a very, very special defense. So if I can get that kind of production out of a freshman quarterback and a superstar running back with some good offensive linemen, which now has depth with Wade and Lapuaho back, you've added some offensive line depth. This could be just enough offense to get you to that Big 12 championship game that you've been looking for.
I like it. I like it. The 9-game Big 12 conference slate begins. We continue chatting with Hans Olsen of KSL Sports Zone and the analyst for BYU radio football games. BYU in Colorado. What's the challenge now with the Buffaloes coming up Saturday in Boulder?
Well, trying to figure out which quarterback they're going to go with.
Salter, right?
I think that's the first one. Could be, and that's kind of what you lean towards, and that's what you're thinking. But I could see Deion Sanders pulling out Ryan Staub or even Julian Lewis. Just because he knows what he's up against. He just played this defense a couple months ago, and he did it with a Heisman Trophy winner, and he did it with his son as a quarterback, and he did it with a team that was really winning, and this defense embarrassed them. I mean, took them apart. So, yeah, I would expect Cadian Salter, because Cadian's going to give you a really nice, passing option. He's going to give you a nice running option as well. Cadian Salter right now is the leading rusher for that Colorado football team. He's rushed for 153 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's your best rushing option. He's been their best passing option. Ryan Staub got the start against Houston and kind of fell short. Cadian Salter didn't take a snap against Houston, and they lost to Houston. But they got a win last week against Wyoming that they think gave them confidence. I was listening to the broadcast, and they were acting like that gave them a lot of confidence. But Coach Prime is very familiar with the defense that he's about to butt up against. And the one thing that Coach Prime knows is whatever you think that defense is going to do, they're probably not going to do, and then they're going to change it up and do what you think they're going to do, and they're going to catch you standing flat-footed. So I could see him pulling out all the kinds of stops. I really could. Yeah, I expect Cadian Salter. I would not be surprised to see Julian Lewis. I would not be surprised. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Welch, their running back, line up at Wildcat, just in any effort to try to get points against this BYU defense. If I was an offensive coordinator preparing for this defense, I would be desperate. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. I would be desperate trying to figure out, what the heck am I going to do? Because this defense is so solid.
And BYU didn't have a great game from Jake Retzloff in the bowl game to win. It was really the run game, special teams. The defense was incredible. And so I don't feel like Bear Bachmeier has to do anything crazy because of the defense and the run game. But I do want to ask you, where do you feel like BYU fits in the Big 12 right now? Because the consensus is pretty much after that win in Salt Lake, Texas Tech is the #1 team in the league as of now. And then there's a bunch of teams kind of at #2 there. Where do you have BYU?
So I've got BYU I would say in a top 4. And I would go Iowa State, Texas Tech, Arizona State, and BYU. And I could go TCU, and I know you got to talk a little bit about Houston. So, there is a top tier. I know Kansas has done some good things, but I would probably go in a top 3 tier. I would go Iowa State, Texas Tech, and BYU. TCU is really good, and Hoover's really good. And I called that game a couple of years ago at TCU, and it was not favorable. So I know that that's going to be a really tough game, but I would put him in the top 3.
Bear Bachmeier took a step forward. We saw him push it down the field a little more. We saw his yards per attempt go up. He's one of the best true freshman quarterbacks and freshman quarterbacks in the country right now. Where is he getting better the most, in your opinion?
Well, where you say getting better, I would say that something that he's not gotten better at, something he's just been really good at from the start, has been ball security. And Bear is getting out and running a little bit. And when you watch him run, he tucks. And he knows how important that is, that if he's going to run, he can't put the ball on the ground. And he runs upright, and he's a big, tall kid, and he takes shots. So the last thing he wants to do is put that ball on the ground. So he's done a great job of ball security. Against Portland State and Stanford, there were a couple of throws that got a little bit loose from him and could have been interceptions, but weren't. So you can't credit him with an interception. So what I would say is he's been very conscious of Aaron Roderick's requests to protect the football at all costs and not put BYU's defense behind the ball. That's a big one. And if you look at what East Carolina was doing coming to that game, forcing turnovers, they'd forced 8 turnovers. The week before, they forced 5 fumbles against Coastal Carolina, and they recovered 3 of them. They forced 2 interceptions against Coastal Carolina. They came out of that game with 5 forced turnovers, and going into the BYU East Carolina game, I'm thinking, okay, you're on the road. You know, you might be tired, distracted, fatigued. It's Bear Bachmeier's first road game. For sure, there's going to be a turnover. There was in the first quarter. I thought, oh no, he got upended, but his elbow hit before the ball popped out. It was the ground that caused the fumble. It was overturned, and I'm like, there you go. The kid understands the importance of ball security, and you cannot put a price tag on that for a true freshman quarterback, because they want to be the superstar. They want to be in the spotlight. They want to prove their worth. Bear is smart enough to understand that proving his worth means don't give that offense any more opportunity or possessions, and make sure that our defense isn't put in bad field position. And he's been masterful at that.
It's always good to talk to you, especially when it's before 2 a.m. at Bam Bam's after a home win.
Those are my favorite times over a big old plate of swachos, and Cam is my absolute favorite. And sitting down with you and going over all of him's tweets, and you know, bumping up Spencer and just having a blast with you guys, man, that has definitely become a post-game favorite.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Have a great call on Saturday at Colorado. Thanks for the time, Hans.
Yeah, you bet. Anytime.